You think you choose what you want. You choose the music you like, the clothes you buy, the person you want to become, the career that looks worth chasing, the face you wish you had, the life that would finally make you feel like you were doing okay. But somewhere between the first scroll of the morning and the last scroll before sleep, something else started making suggestions. Not a person, not a teacher, not your family. An algorithm. It does not need to understand your soul to influence you. It only needs to learn what makes you pause, what makes you jealous, what makes you angry, what makes you curious, what makes you feel behind. Then it gives you more. At first that feels useful. You like guitars, so it shows you more guitars. You like makeup, so it shows you more makeup. You watch one video about starting a business, and suddenly your feed fills with people in rented cars telling you that a normal job is a trap. The system is good at finding patterns. The strange part is what happens after it finds them. It starts turning tiny interests into entire identities. You do not just like fitness anymore. You are supposed to optimize every meal, every hour of sleep, every supplement, every mirror photo, every little failure. You do not just like fashion anymore. You are supposed to have an aesthetic. You do not just want money anymore. You are supposed to be building a personal brand, a side hustle, a passive income stream, a secret system that makes you financially free before everybody else figures it out. You do not just want to make art anymore. You are supposed to turn it into content fast enough to survive the feed. The algorithm did not invent insecurity. People have always compared themselves to other people. But comparison used to have limits. You compared yourself to classmates, coworkers, people in your town, somebody on television who felt far away enough to be fantasy. Now you compare yourself to 1,000 carefully selected lives before lunch, and the feed does not show you average. Average does not stop the scroll. It shows you the person with the perfect apartment, the person who looks younger than they are, the person who claims to make $10,000 a month from their phone, the person with a body that looks impossible, the artist with 1 million views, the traveler who never seems tired, the couple who never argues, the entrepreneur who somehow works 4 hours a day and still owns a car you cannot afford. The algorithm is not always lying to you. That is what makes it powerful. Most of what you see is technically possible. Somebody does make that much money. Somebody does live in that apartment. Somebody did get the views. But the feed removes the scale. It does not show you how rare something is. It does not show you the failed attempts surrounding the successful one. It does not show you the debt, the help, the editing, the luck, the timing, the family money, the burnout, the 10 years before the overnight success. It shows you the outcome. Then it quietly asks, why are you not there yet? That question can change what people want. Because when you see a certain type of life often enough, it stops looking exceptional. It starts looking normal. And when normal becomes impossible, your real life starts to feel like proof that you failed. This is why so many people feel poor even when they are making more money than they did a few years ago. Their life did not necessarily get worse. Their reference point changed. The phone in your hand has become a machine for raising your standards faster than your actual life can catch up. You may have a safe place to sleep, friends who care about you, a working car, food in the fridge, a skill you have spent years building. But the feed can make all of it feel small in 10 minutes. Not because it is small. And when your own life contains a boring middle, you think something has gone wrong. You think you are too slow. But slow is where most real things are built. Relationships are slow. Trust is slow. Skill is slow. Health is slow. Money is usually slow. Art is slow, even when it arrives in a flash. The algorithm can make process look like failure because process does not always produce a clean clip. That is why people keep quitting at the exact point where their work might have started becoming real. They are comparing their chapter 2 to someone else's edited final scene. And this is not just about money or looks. It changes politics. It changes relationships. It changes what we are afraid of. When outrage performs better than nuance, everything starts to look like an emergency. When dating advice becomes content, normal awkwardness starts to look like a red flag. When every disagreement becomes a clip, patience starts to look weak. When every opinion is ranked by reaction, quiet reflection starts to feel like doing nothing. The feed rewards certainty because certainty is easy to react to. But real life is often uncertain. Real life asks you to sit with mixed feelings, to change your mind, to admit you do not know, to let a person be more complicated than a label. That kind of thinking is slower. And slower thinking does not always win the scroll. So what do you do with this? You cannot become pure and untouched by the internet. That is not realistic. The internet can teach you things, connect you with people, introduce you to music, art, tools, jobs, communities, and opportunities that you would never find otherwise. The algorithm is not magic. It is a tool with incentives. The question is whether you know when it is shaping you. The first move is to notice the feeling after you scroll. Not the content, the feeling. Do you feel inspired? Or do you feel late? Do you feel informed? Or do you feel vaguely inadequate? Do you actually want the thing you just saw? Or do you want the feeling that was attached to it? That question can save you a lot of money and a lot of years. The second move is to build a few desires away from the feed. Make something nobody will see. Listen to a full album without checking what people said about it. Wear something because you like it, not because it communicates the correct thing. Take a walk without turning the view into proof that you went outside. Learn a skill badly for a while. Let your taste have private roots. The third move is to choose your inputs on purpose. Follow people who make you more curious, not just more insecure. Follow people who show process, not only results. Follow people who are good at something you genuinely care about, instead of people who make you feel like your life is behind schedule. And sometimes, the best thing you can do is interrupt the machine. Not forever. Just long enough to hear your own thoughts before somebody sells you another version of yourself. Because the algorithm can predict what you will watch. It can predict what makes you pause. It can even learn which future you are most likely to chase. But it cannot decide what is enough for you unless you let it. That part still belongs to you. Because the feed is built around contrast. Contrast creates emotion. Emotion creates engagement. And engagement is the thing the system measures. The system does not wake up and decide to ruin your self-esteem. It does not need a villain speech. It is simply rewarded when you keep watching. That means it learns a dangerous lesson very quickly. Calm rarely beats conflict. Enough rarely beats more. Ordinary rarely beats extreme. And a person who feels completely satisfied is often less likely to keep searching. So the feed has a natural bias toward the unfinished feeling. The feeling that you need one more answer, one more product, one more glow-up, one more business idea, one more reason to think your life is about to change. It is not always selling you an object. Sometimes it is selling you a future version of yourself. Buy this course and become disciplined. Buy this outfit and become desirable. Buy this supplement and become focused. Move to this city and become interesting. Start this business and become free. Some of those things might help. That is not the point. The point is that the algorithm is very good at connecting a product to a feeling you already want. And then it repeats the connection until it feels like your own idea. This is where taste starts to get weird. Taste used to grow slowly. You found something because a friend played it for you. You saw a shirt in a shop window. You stumbled into a movie late at night. You spent time with something before you knew whether it mattered. Now taste often arrives with a verdict attached. This is trending. This is embarrassing. This is the right aesthetic. This is what successful people use. This is what losers still do. The feed does not just show you things. It gives them social weather. It tells you which way the crowd is moving. And because human beings are social, we notice the crowd even when we pretend we do not. We want to belong. We want to avoid looking foolish. We want to be early enough to feel special, but not so early that nobody understands us. The algorithm turns that ancient instinct into a real-time scoreboard. Views, likes, comments, followers, saves, shares. Numbers make popularity look objective. But popularity is not the same thing as value. A song can be good before it has streams. A person can be attractive before strangers agree. A small business can be real before it looks impressive online. A life can be worth living before it looks good in a 15-second clip. The problem is that the feed trains us to confuse visible proof with actual proof. If nobody saw it, did it matter? If nobody liked it, was it good? If it did not turn into content, did it even happen? That is a very expensive way to live, because it makes your attention feel like a public performance. You start doing things with an invisible audience in the room. You choose the restaurant that photographs better. You pick the hobby that gives you something to post. You delay making art because you cannot imagine how to package it. You buy something not because you need it, but because you have seen the lifestyle around it so many times that it feels like a missing piece of your identity. And then there is the speed. The algorithm does not just change what you want. It changes how fast you expect to get it. You see someone learn a skill in 30 seconds. You see a business launch in one montage. You see a bedroom turn into a studio with one before and after transition. You see somebody's entire body change between two clips. The boring middle disappears. The repetition disappears. The bad drafts disappear. The weeks where nothing worked disappear.